Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to make this quick little video on the Sony A6300 camera settings to give you that most cinematic look for whenever you're doing any kind of filmmaking. Notice that there's some other videos online that just take way too long to explain it, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on my settings, and then you can just go ahead and tweak them for your liking afterwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and run right through it. Image size, we just got the L20M. Aspect ratio, so 16:9, that's going to give us the full screen to work with. Quality, we just have fine. And we're going to go over to number 2. So for file format, I always shoot in 4K to give me the highest quality possible. If I'm shooting in 60 frames a second or 120 frames a second, it does not allow you to shoot in 4K. You have to shoot in 1080p HD. So then you just go down, hit the HD, and then select your 60 frames a second or 120 frames a second. So we're going to select 4K. I always shoot 24 frames a second. Make sure that you select 24 frames 100M. That's going to give you better quality than if you were to pick the 24 frames 60M. Don't worry about some of this stuff right here. I'm not even going to worry about any of this. We're just going to go ahead and move on to number 3. I got continuous autofocus on focus area, so I kind of go back and forth in between wide and zone. Just depends on exactly what you're shooting. Oop, go back here. I would probably recommend sticking to zone most of the time. Okay, so autofocus drive speed, I got that set to fast. The autofocus track sensor, I got that set to high. That seems to work out pretty good for me. Exposure step, 0.3. ISO, this is just set at 250 right now, but it's going to change depending on your environment with whatever lighting that you have. Metering mode, I got that set to multi. White balance, I do not ever use a auto white balance because you will start to notice in your videos that after you get a nice color grade going and the color changes since it's on auto, it messes the color grade up. So I just go down to custom, select custom, and then set it to 5500 Kelvin. And that seems to work pretty good most of the time. Picture effect is off. This is where it really matters on getting that cinematic look. Is it going to be under your picture profile? Let's go ahead and select that. Mine right now is set under the PP1. You can set yours underneath any of the PP selections here, but mine is just on PP1. So if you go ahead and select that, go over. These are my settings right here. So black level -10. My gamma is set to Cine 2. Black gamma is wide. Level is 0. Knee I have set to manual, and I'll go show you what it is. 105%, and then +5 for the slope. Go back. Color mode I have set to S gamut Cine. Saturation +15. Color phase is set to 0. Color depth. Just want to copy these settings right here. -3, -2, +1, 0, +1, -2. Detail. Some people like to shoot at -7 when they're doing the 24 frames a second. However, I like to go -4. I just found that that gives me a better quality image overall. And that's it. That's it for these settings. If you want to go ahead and check out some other gammas, you know, other people like using Cine 3, Cine 4 is another popular one, or you got your basic S-Log, and then even S-Log 3. I started off when I first got Sony using S-Log 2. Even tried utilizing S-Log 3. Just doesn't work good for me. It's just a lot of work. So mess around with it if you want. I've seen a lot of projects come out looking really dope with people who know how to work good with the S-Log 2. Smile face detection. Yeah, I do got that on. That seems to help out a lot when I'm filming anybody. It gives puts the little box, little frame around the head, and focuses really good on their face. So I do like that. 7, don't worry about it. Honestly, don't really worry about any of these other things. Right here is where you're going to set it. So say you got all your settings dialed in the way that you want. You just copy these settings. You have it the way that you would like. You're going to go down to memory and then select one of these right here. I have mine set to 1. So when I up here on the camera, if I just slide this little roller wheel right here to 1, after I have it dialed in, it'll always be set to this. My Shutter speed is always going to be 1/50, 24 frames a second. Now, if you are shooting slow motion and you want to get some nice slow motion shots, you go back over here. You're going to, oops, go up to 4K. You're going to have to go down to HD and 120 frames a second if you wanted to shoot that. Then over here in the settings where we were at a second ago, go back. All these settings are pretty much going to stay the same. However, when it comes to detail, you're going to want to change this to 0. That's the only thing that I change. Everything else stays the exact same. I just go and I change the detail to 0 whenever I'm shooting slow motion, whether that's 60 frames a second or 120 frames a second. And if you wanted to save this as well, you just go down to memory, and then you'd select that right here. You press the number 2, and that would save it in your number 2 spot. But yeah, guys, this is exactly what I've been using since well, for like a while now. And music videos, I kind of been switching back and forth in between the Cine 2 and Cine 4, just depending on my lighting situations. It just seems that some work better than others. So go ahead and give these a shot, see how these work out for you. Let me know if you've tried any of these down in the description below, and if it helped you out in any way. Make sure that you like the video, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.